when it happened, like so many other people, I was stunned for a while. And then I saw all the news coverage, I saw all the talking heads discussing what happened, and I started to ask myself if maybe I should say something. And so I took a few days, I thought about it a lot, I prayed about it deeply. And then something started happening that I didn't expect. People started talking about it that I never expected to talk about it. At one point, I was really seriously praying whether or not to address this. And a recommended video popped up in my feed. It was a comedian. It's a YouTuber, TikToker who just makes comedic, funny content. Just heartwarming, fun stuff to just make you giggle in your day. And he addressed this. And I watched his whole video thinking, man, this is not what his channel is about. But I so appreciate that he said something. And the instant that I had that thought, I was pretty sure the Lord had led me to make this video. So here we are. On September 10th, 2025, Charlie Kirk was assassinated, which is undoubtedly a turning point in the nation, pun intended. When President Trump got shot in the ear, that was kind of scary. But of course they would shoot at Trump. They've been calling him a Nazi and a fascist for about a decade, so of course someone would try. And it was concerning because I wanted him to keep on doing his work, closing the border, getting the illegals out, bringing sanity back to the gender issue. He's doing really good things for the country, and if he gets taken out, we've got J.D. Vance to come in and keep doing his work. But it didn't hit me the way that the way that Charlie's death does. Because Charlie's a civilian. He's just a family man and a content creator. And they murdered him for being effective. They murdered him for speaking truth. They murdered him for being logically and statistically untouchable. His points are just tend to be really, really immaculate. Now, did I agree with everything Charlie ever said? No. Did I even like Charlie Kirk? Half the time, no, I didn't like Charlie Kirk. He struck me as kind of full of himself. Now, interestingly, my mom, raising me and my brothers, she used to say that the things that drive us nuts the most in other people are usually the things that we need to work on in ourselves. So I've been aware for years that my annoyance at Charlie Kirk being full of himself is a symptom of me being full of myself, which I do tend to be. And I have to constantly work on that. I tend to be an arrogant jerk. So I have worked very hard and prayed very hard over the last decade or so to really, really clean that up. And I think I'm doing okay. So it's not like Charlie Kirk is my favorite person. I didn't even know the guy. But this shows where our country is. And I weep, not for Charlie himself. I didn't know him. His death didn't move me to tears because of my love for Charlie, although it is sad. But because it's not just the country that was shot. It's not just Charlie, Freudian slip. It's not just Charlie that was shot, but the country itself. This murder has brought us closer to civil war than we've been since the Civil War. Hear me, we've never been closer to civil war than we are now since the late 1800s. The ability for the left and the right to coexist peacefully is unraveling before our eyes, and that's terrifying. Not because I think the right is unprepared for unrest, a lot of us are, but because of the country itself, innocent lives. A civil war, civil unrest would not be productive for children. It wouldn't be productive for the weak and the vulnerable. That's my least favorite outcome, is war. It's horrible, and I mean horror, horrible. As a dad, I especially feel that. Now, does that mean that civil war won't happen? Maybe it will. I hope not. But it might. But what we need most of all right now is not more killing. What we need is revival. Anyone out there who is celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk is truly and deeply evil. There's no mincing words on that. If you celebrated or are celebrating that man's death, you are evil. I will not apologize. I will not take that back. I don't care who you are. If you are happy that he was assassinated, you are evil. He named his organization Turning Point USA. And I think that in the end here, not an end, probably the true beginning of Charlie's real legacy is going to be a major turning point in the United States. But how we all answer this is going to determine what kind of turning point it is. We don't need war right now. It's not the most ideal outcome. Most ideal outcome is revival. Yes, the people on the left celebrating this are evil. They are sick. But you know what our Savior, you know what Yeshua said about sick, evil people? He said they need a doctor. He said, the well have no need of a physician, but the sick. He came to heal the sick. Everybody on the left who is celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder are deeply sick, deeply evil. But you know what? There are a bunch of people who were deeply sick, who were deeply evil, who were redeemed by the blood of Christ. That's what these people need right now. At the core of their being, the deepest problem these people have is that they are lost, they are sick, they are evil, but they can be healed, they can be saved. That is what we should be wanting for these people. Now, does that mean that if the left starts a civil war, that we shouldn't defend our country? Of course we should. There is such a thing as a just war. There's such a thing as good fighting, good killing. If Russia invaded the East Coast, for example, I hope they would get blown to hell. But this is not a time for mincing words. This is not a time to be shy. The left dealt a major blow to civility when one of their number killed Charlie Kirk and then many of them actually reveled in it. Don't expect the right to be very civil in our discourse anymore. Yes, I am on the right. I am conservative. I might be more conservative than Charlie Kirk was. Okay? Marriage is only for man plus woman. Anything else you want to try to combine there is not marriage. It's male plus female. That is marriage. Everything else should be federally banned. Okay? Let's close the border, which effectively now we have done. Let's go after the cartels, which now Trump is doing, thank God. They're sending tons and tons and tons and tons of poison into our country to slaughter our young people. And now he's bringing the fight to them. Thank God. Trump has said there are only two genders. This is true. There's male and female. Everything else is mental illness. It's mental illness. These people don't need to be coddled. They need psychiatric help. And I don't mean that as mockery. I mean that in all compassion. These people have one of the highest suicide rates ever, higher than slaves in the slave trade, and higher than Jews or about the same as Jews in Nazi Germany. We're talking about these people who think that they're the opposite gender or whatever. That's what we're dealing with here. Men who think that they're in love with men. Women who think they're in love with women. That's sickness. It needs to end. These people need to come out of these lifestyles and embrace wholeness, embrace truth, embrace righteousness. These self-destructive behaviors need to end. Oh, also, Second Amendment, big proponent, gun owner, love it. I hate the idea of guns, but as long as bad guys have them and might aim them at my children, yeah, I'm going to be owning and training with guns. Conservatives, the time to mince words and be conciliatory in the same way as we have been, of not getting political, those days are over. They are killing us. They hunted Charlie Kirk and they killed him. Who's next? You know what terrorism is? It's political violence intended to intimidate the other side into compliance. That's what terrorism is. Charlie Kirk's death, this is terrorism. It's intended to terrify you. Terror, right? It's intended to scare you into compliance. The best possible reaction to terrorism is non-compliance. They want to scare us into silence. Well, guess what? I'm not scared. Concerned? Vigilant? Certainly. But I'm not frightened. I'm not terrified. Okay? I will speak up. I'm a proud Christian conservative, pro-Second Amendment, pro-life, pro-marriage, pro-Bible, Bible-believing, Spirit-filled Son of God sitting right here. If you don't like that, if you want to unsubscribe, whatever, go. Okay? If you hate me, hate me. If you want to block me, block me. Okay, this has happened to lots of the people online who come out and they support Charlie Kirk, and then part of their internet following goes away. I don't care. It's never been about the following. It's never been about the money. Mudwalkers is here to spread a message. The message is, let's read the Bible for what it's really saying in the context into which it was originally written. That's the message of Mudwalkers. Okay? So if you have a problem with the messenger, by all means go. I don't need you. I need the Father. I need Yahweh. He is what I need. And right now, the time is gone for pussyfooting. The time for walking on eggshells is over. So I have made an effort to, generally speaking, stay apolitical in my videos. But now I make no promises. Not because I want to be some kind of political activist, but because I think that silence is part of the problem at this point. They need to know how many of us there really are. I saw one TikTok. This woman was singing thoughts and prayers for Charlie Kirk, thoughts and prayers for Charlie Kirk, mocking. As if the right would actually have a problem with that. Of course we should be thinking about Charlie Kirk and his family. Of course we should be praying for his family, for everyone who knew him. We should be praying for our country. We should be praying for the world right now. It's been very encouraging to see all of the reactions around the world. It's interesting, no cities are burning down because Charlie Kirk died. No riots. All you're seeing is peaceful vigils and prayer meetings and parades, sort of things. We're not seeing the same kind of violence and destruction that we saw when George Floyd died. We're not. Christians are a different breed. We're not like you. We love peace. We love life. However, God's people have always borne the sword. And if if we get pushed into a civil war, we will fight. I don't want a civil war. But am I ready to defend my family? Absolutely I am. I believe in that. Any father out there who is unarmed and untrained, rethink that, especially in the light of this atrocity. I wept when Charlie Kirk died. It's not like me. I don't usually weep for the deaths of people I don't know. It's not that I don't care, it's just that I don't know them. It's like when a church member's dog dies. Like, I'm not going to cry just because the old lady's crying because she misses her dog. It wasn't my dog. Is it sad? Yes. Do I feel for her? Yes. I'm not going to weep over it. I wept when Charlie died, again, because of the implications for the country. But what I didn't expect was to be this angry. I'm deeply, deeply angered. Now, this is me after taking about a week to cool off, okay? I would have been using much more colorful, animated language a week ago. I am deeply angry. It defies belief that people who share this great country with me could be so brazenly evil. At this point, if I go on, I think I'll just be rambling. But I want to leave you with something to ponder. If you are on the left, you're happy that Charlie Kirk is dead. You're happy that he was murdered. I hope that you will honestly meditate on what kind of a person that makes you. Because Charlie wasn't violent. If Hitler were around today and he was assassinated, I would be happy about that. Some dictator slaughtering millions of people? Oh, hell yeah. I'll have a party that Hitler's dead. Absolutely. Charlie's not that. Charlie was a peaceful man who just wanted to have debates about saving the lives of babies and getting people out of the transgender movement, because transgender people have almost a 50% attempted suicide rate. It's not good for you. It's not. I don't care about all the gender affirming crap. Okay, if affirming you drives you into a lifestyle that's going to raise your risk of suicide to Nazi Germany Jew level, something's wrong with that ideology and that way of thinking. So I just want to leave you with that. If you really are happy about this, what kind of person are you really? And if you can look someone in the eye and say, I'm glad Charlie Kirk is dead. I'm glad he got shot. Woohoo, yay, let's throw a party and throw back some beers to celebrate Charlie Kirk's death. Okay, I have very little in common with you. You're evil. Father, we need your Spirit. We need you to flow across this country like a fire in the prairie. Just surge across this land with your Spirit and change lives, transform hearts, save people's souls, turn our country back to the truth, back to good, back to sanity, back to love. We need you above all things, Father. Save our country. Save our people.